Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Frost Esports Twitch channel. Today we have the Frost Snowstorm number 16 tournament, the $100 prize pool. My name is Flater, and with me here today is Hud. Hud, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Flater. I'm super excited to be here, be casting this Frost tournament with you, and pumped to get into our first match of the evening. This tournament's been kicking around now since 8 p.m. Eastern, so already have made a decent amount of progress through our bracket, and we are starting with the winner semifinal here on stream. And the two teams that we're going to get to see tonight, Flater, X13 and Team Takeover, looking to continue their runs in this upper bracket.
So from what I'm seeing so far, X13 has not lost a single game in their entire run this tournament.
And I am seeing the same. Yeah, they've played 4. They've won all 4 of them. And Team Takeover are in the same spot. Both teams still undefeated.
Yeah, it seems like Team Takeover did lose one game.
Oh, yeah,
to
they lost
Barboys.
1. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that 1 there. There's a 1 on the bracket. It's just in gray. So I only counted the games that were in green, 4 and 4. But yeah, I mean, both teams obviously still in the top bracket, so they're having enough of a run here to where everything is working well for them on their run so far. But one of them's going to have to lose in this matchup, and as we're getting ready to get these players onto the pitch, they have got 5 games to show us which of these two sides is worthy of moving on to that winners final. In the blue will be X13, and the orange is Team Takeover. And with 5 minutes on the clock, Flater, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Hud. X13 and Team Takeover, and it's this best of 3 series. The winner moving on to the winners finals. So a lot of stuff on the line, a lot of honor on the line as well. Obviously, the winner of the entire tournament will be taking away the $100 prize pool. And 20 seconds into the game, we see the first goal coming in from Team Takeover. Pigeon just strolling the ball down the field and had a lot of possession to work with. But what a touch there by Pigeon. Look at that.
Huge dunk from Pigeon, getting things opened up early here in game number 1. Team Takeover find that first goal. A quick run through our lineups. Team Takeover again in that orange. They've got that first goal from Pigeon, supported by 0-2 and Spade. And then in the blue, X13, represented by Tide, Tasek, and TK. Those 6 players on the field here, all trying to find their way to the upper bracket, as Tasek has a shot saved away by Pigeon. That's the first real look for X13, but they're starting to pour them on here. So we're just about through 1 minute of game number 1.
Yeah, so now Team Takeover only have 1 goal to work with, and that lead has just been reduced to 0. Tasek. What a shot, and that was a bit of a miss coming in from, I believe that was Spade. You definitely do not want to see that at such a high level of competitive gameplay.
It was a tough read, but yeah, definitely one that I think everybody would have expected to be made, but not a whole lot to be lost or gained. Just 1 goal, basically a new ball game here. Not even 50 seconds through our first game of this best of 3, so still some time to make up for it as 0-2 tries to get something going. Pigeon will wrap it back around, and it has been kind of this bang-bang offense. A shot comes in from Spade, just a little bit high on the follow-up, and nobody's really kind of taken over this game yet. TK has a shot and another one turned aside. It's just a kind of traded counterattacks from both sides here through the first minute and a half.
A really good save coming in from Spade on the goal line, and that bump might do something for Team X13, but that was not the case. Tasek will be taking possession here. There's a lot of space to work with. Spade. No contact on the ball. Tide trying to get a center play. However, this will be cleared pretty well by Pigeon. TK back to the center. In possession of the ball. Oof. A lot of touches, and that might just be it for Tasek. Top corner almost gets it in, and Team Takeover live to see another day.
For a moment here, they've not quite cleared their lines. TK still on it. Pigeon finally is going to get it all the way into the blue end. Tasek waiting on the backboard. Power clear all the way. Cross pitch. Tasek there for the 50 on Pigeon. Into the box. An awkward angle for 0-2, but will defend it well. Tide waiting on the sidewall, gets one touchdown to Spade, pinches it all the way out through midfield. And as halftime approaches here in game number 1, still a tied ball game between these two sides. Only 2 shots for Team Takeover, and they're going to allow one to get past them here from X13. Tasek finds their second, and 6 seconds before halftime, it's a 2-1 lead for X13.
Really good control of the ball there by Tasek. Controls it as soon as it drops down and gets the right touch to secure the 1-goal lead. X13 now in the lead.
Halftime has come and gone here in game number 1, and Tasek looking for a third to complete their hat trick here in the first half of our first game, but it will be turned away, tied in 0-2, supported by TK, who has an open angle but can't slot it inside. So getting away with another one there is Team Takeover. Could be a 2-goal lead here in the 3rd minute of gameplay, but not quite to be. Tasek getting on the end of it. A poor rotation is going to be goal number 3, the hat trick for the striker, Tasek.
I think Tasek, oh no, TK, I believe, just pushed himself in front of the goal line so as to stop any kind of saves from happening. Not that it would be likely. However, now X13 with a 2-goal lead, and Tasek being the man of the game so far, 535 points to his name, 6 shots on target, might be another one here. That man is a mechanical god.
I mean, everybody on this pitch has got the ability to pull out that flash when they need it. And, you know, sometimes the teams need those flashy plays to kind of get them hyped up. They need them to be brought into the series, but nobody's quite had to pull out anything, at least to score yet. Pigeon does a good job slowing this one down and is going to put TK in an awkward spot. Spade, heavy touch all the way across the box. Spade still with it, can't quite connect, and Tasek looking to drive it out. All 3 players from X13 playing a pretty high line here in the blue end. They have put a lot of pressure that is on that's Team Takeover putting the pressure on X13 here, but really not able to break them down a whole lot more as X13 continues to run a pretty decent line. That one's going to go all the way through, though. Team Takeover manages to punch one through, and with 63 seconds, they only are 1 goal away.
That was a lot of pressure coming in from Takeover, and believe the boost can only last for so long. They had to go out of their way to get the boost, and with that, Takeover will be taking another goal to their name.
And with 1 minute left on the clock here, still an opportunity for Team Takeover to be able to bring themselves back into this game, back into this series. Tide will run it all the way down. Tasek a long clear. Team Takeover is looking to push something out through the blue end. It's not really going to be able to get it around. TK just stacks it up in the midfield line, turns it back. Tasek on and again, a long clear, and again that high aggressive forecheck from Team Takeover getting in the way a little bit. Pigeon will slow things down, really can't get it around anybody, and more time bleeding off the clock. It's one last push for Team Takeover.
TK now in possession of the ball, 42 boost to his name. He needs one more touch. He is going to be getting it. However, 0-2 reads the play perfectly well. Tasek rides it high. Spade gets it sent to 0-2. Gets demoed by TK. That might just be the clutch moment right there. TK coming in with the demo of the game, preventing the goal from happening. And Pigeon will not be letting this one slide through, while Tasek takes another goal and fortifies the win in the very first game of this best-of-3 series. What do you think, Hud?
I mean, I think for the most part, that first game belonged firmly to X13. There were a couple moments where Team Takeaway were playing it relatively closely, but at the end of the day, Tasek really dominating the offensive side of the field and being that difference maker. 8 shots on goal by themselves, doubling the team total for Team Takeover. So I think that Team Takeover coming into this next game being down 1 goal need to try to see if they can't key off on Tasek, keep them from being able to run point on that offense, and maybe just shut down that attack a little bit.
I believe Takeover has the kind of coordination that they need. They just need to maybe get it working a little bit more faster. Pigeon, obviously, looks to be the one who has the mechanics to compete with Tasek. He, however, was not able to find the right space to work with. So I have high hopes from Pigeon coming into game number 2.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to need to be a team effort for Team Takeover, but we know that they've got the ability to. And in the same breath, I think that all it takes is one player like Tasek to step up and pop off to really be able to turn the tide, especially up here at this level. Everybody's already so good. If somebody's really on point, it can be that difference maker. And it was Tasek for X13, but Team Takeover still has at least one more opportunity to try to right that wrong. They've got to do it here in game number 2, or they will be sent down in the lower bracket. So do or die time here for Team Takeover. And with all the players back in the lobby hitting the pitch, they're going to have the opportunity to get it done here. 5 more minutes on the clock. Game number 2. And Flater, please take it away.
So I believe the first goal is definitely going to be the deciding factor as to who dominates this game. That wasn't the case last game, but this might just be the momentum shifter because Team Takeover is aware that this is their last straw in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, it's not going to be I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think this is probably going to be a 1 or 2 goal affair all the way through. Wouldn't be hugely surprised if we saw extras. But I do think if that first goal lands to X13, we might see them just kind of turtle up, close up shop, and run the clock out. But Team Takeover, we have seen their ability to be able to generate some offenses. Tasek slices them up again. Another miss on the backboard. Tasek with no boost can't get anything done. So, but already that's an opportunity for X13 that probably could have been a goal.
That was a bit of a whiff coming in from 0-2. You definitely do not want to see that. However, Pigeon trying to take possession. TK sending it center. Spade. Really good clear. Needs 2 touches, however. Gets a pinch as well. Over from Tide. Tasek always in the right position to read the play and might just be getting a double here. Trying to get a double. However, TK coming in with the right touch. Almost getting one on target. And Tasek had an open net to work with. No boost, however. TK, there's so much pressure being applied from everywhere, and I'm surprised they're holding their line up until now.
Wow.
So many saves.
All 3 players making a save on that progression. Literally, each one of the players in rotation made a save through that defensive cycle. They keep the ball out of their net. They keep the scoreline clean. That's a massive stand for X13 and 14 Takeover, and one that I think X13 might come out of it just feeling a little bit frustrated because they really were just taking every crack of the neck that they could.
Now Tide might be taking possession here. Does get a bit of a center. TK ready. Spade with a really good touch. However, Tasek always there to read it perfectly well. Pigeon bounces it high. TK still able to read it. I'm not seeing any counter-attack opportunities coming in for Team Takeover. This might just be one. However, TK coming with a save on the goal line.
Pigeon doing their best to try to get something going here, but it's just short. Pigeon's going to be in a one-on-one again. Tasek continues to be the unstoppable force in the goal mouth as we approach halftime of game number 2. Still scoreless. A little bit of a different pace than what we saw in game number 1 as these two teams get a little bit more comfortable with each other and who they are facing off against. TK with a drive down into the orange corner. Spade will have a pop to the center. Tasek is there. 1-on-1 against 0-2 off the crossbar. And Tide can't put it back on frame. TK with a follow-through demo. Pigeon clears it away well. And with 2 minutes left to go, X13 still have not been able to break down the brick wall that Team Takeover have built in front of their net.
Does seem to be the case. And I believe physical plays has to be the way to go here. They might want to look for some space, and maybe a demo is what's going to be opening it up for them. Pigeon will be taking possession. Bangs it high. Tasek, however, just so elegantly comes in and takes the ball away. It just seems like no work at all coming in from Tasek.
They have been all over the pitch for 9.5 minutes just about here. Every touch has been perfect, right where it needs to be. Just hasn't quite found them the goal that they need here in game number 2. There's a rare whiff from Tasek as Spade has a nice breakout touch. Can't really get it back to the center of the pitch and also missed that corner boost. It's a tough look for Spade. They'll have to rotate all the way out. And this long clear from X13 will be met by Spade, who after grabbing that corner boost was in the perfect spot. TK and Tasek combining with a couple of 50s to clear this one long, and with 60 seconds left, we are still deadlocked at 0.
So many opportunities being missed by Team Takeover. You can finally see the nerves setting in. I see the counterattack opportunities they have, but they just keep giving it away. And that kind of mindset makes sense when you have not gotten any kind of possession in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, and TK was just freestyling in the corner there. I was curious to see how long he could keep it up. That's the second musty that I've seen come out of Team Takeover as they look for some exits, and it's opened the goal up a little bit, and just like that, 0-2 is going to find the back of the blue net. Team Takeover have found the first goal late here in game number 2.
What a play by Pigeon, off the wall, bounces it over one of them, and I believe that was Tide who was not able to get the right touch on the goal line. But with that, Team Takeover finally in the lead with 30 seconds left. You do not want to see a kickoff goal right now. That would be painful for Team Takeover.
Yeah, almost just the throwing the brakes on, the ice on the momentum would be catastrophic for Team Takeover, and it's not quite out of the woods yet for them.
No.
As Tide gets a big bump, but Pigeon barely there in time. Centering ball to Tide is going to be wide off the post, and 4 seconds left. It just is a little bit longer for Team Takeover to hang on. TK turning it back around. Tasek pops to the middle. Tide is there. Over top of one. Is it on frame? Spade pinches it away. Tasek bumped off the ball, and Team Takeover hold on in game 2.
I have to say, Spade, what a touch there. Gets the perfect touch that he needs just off the crossbar into the corner. And with that, Team Takeover hold their lead, and we go to game number 3. The very first series, we're already going to game number 3. I mean, this is the kind of plays that I expect from Pigeon as well. The one goal that they scored came off from a Pigeon just dribbling out 2 of them.
Yeah, and it's really tough because it's not like X13 really did anything wrong necessarily in that game. I feel like X13 played particularly well through that entire thing, but the defense for Team Takeover was just unbeatable. 7 saves across all 3 players, and it doesn't matter if you're generating a ton of offense if the defense is just that exceptional. And that was do or die time for Team Takeover. They got it done, so they've got to do a 1 more if they want to stay up in this upper bracket.
Definitely, X13 had to make so many opportunities for themselves. They did get those opportunities, but you have to run out of boost even while being in offense, and you're bound to make mistakes, and that is exactly what happened on the Orange defense.
Yeah, it just was the war of attrition there for a little bit, and Team Takeover, the beneficiaries of the game number 2 win. It means that we get to see game 3 here in this winter final. The winner moves on, or winners semifinal, pardon me, best of 3 as TK puts one in early for X13. They're looking to punch their ticket to the winners final. Good segue, HUD. And Team Takeover are, they're at this point, being down 1-0 this early, they've got to fall back on what they were doing well in game number 2, which unfortunately was their defense for the most part, and it kind of failed them there. They've got to find a way to be able to lean on that defensive prowess they've had, force this X13 team into overcommitting and try to find their punishes that way. But instead, it is X13 with the lead for a moment here in game number 3. And Team Takeover have got to play from behind already.
Yeah, Spade here, trying to get the clear necessary. He's going to be getting the ball back. However, Tied with a really good intercept. Pigeon and 0-2 both in the same corner. That might just be catastrophic. They need a good touch to get this clear out, and that is definitely not the one. Spade, really good clear on the defense. Tied trying to do something similar for his team. However, it doesn't seem to be the case so far. Tasek has an opportunity on the top left corner, and he is going to be taking it home. What a shot by Tasek. 116 kilometers, sorry. I don't know what it is in miles. Could you tell me?
72 miles. We've got both of them represented. We've got the conversions here live. 72 miles an hour ripped into the top left corner, and Tasek continues to be lethal. They have done a ton of scoring for X13 here in this series. They continue to find more as Pigeon, who scored a bunch for Team Takeover, looks for one low. A Tide will sweep it away, and with a minute gone, X13's put themselves in the favorable position of having that 2-goal lead. Flater, what does Team Takeover need to do? They've just struggled so much to be able to play from behind.
So X13, I believe, have realized that their constant pressure might just lead to their downfall. So they're taking a step back, right? They're trying to play on the counterattacks, and that is exactly what's working out for them. Look at these clears coming in from TK. That is exactly what you need to do for setting up Tasek for such amazing shots on target, and that might just be another one. But like I was saying, they took a step back, and with that, they are stepping up in this game.
Yeah, parking the bus right now, just protecting goal, but Pigeon's going to poke this one into space.
Oh.
Spade forces the early save from TK, and Pigeon, who was hanging around, is there to put it away, cutting the lead in half with a ton of time left here in game number 3. Team Takeover showing some signs of life.
Highly unfortunate for TK there. Got the pinch, however, it just went center. And Pigeon, reading it perfectly, gets the goal confirmed. Spade, however, now in possession. Looking for a flip reset. Tasek is not going to allow him to have any of that. Pigeon, early challenge, sending it over to Tide. Tide needs the shot on target. He gets the dunk as well. TK decides not to challenge early. He's going to be challenging now, sending it over to his teammate. Tide, back center to TK.
Oh. Perfect for the breakout. Just couldn't quite get anything done as the save was there, and all X13 needs to do at this point is just take up time. They need to take up space, take up territory, pushing the ball forward, and they don't need to score anymore, but continuing to put scoring chances on the other team's net is definitely not going to hurt. If they can just keep the ball firmly parked in the orange end, that is just as good as if they were turtling up in their own side, maybe even better, as they can continue to force this Team Takeover side onto their back foot, really not allow them any kind of opportunities to break out. TK drops one down on the waterfall. 0-2 really awkward on the backboard, but does a great job to get the clear out. Pigeon will continue it, and now Team Takeover, they've got time, but every opportunity downfield they don't get is this series slipping away from them.
And this is a pretty exciting game so far, with only a 1-goal deficit in the last particular game. I don't think the series could get any closer than this until and unless, well, Team Takeover decide to equalize. But this is really exciting. This is a really exciting way to start off the day.
Start off the evening for us here on stream, and 0-2 does a great job of doing just that, making it a little bit more exciting and pulling Team Takeover level. A minute 42 left, just a little bit too much. 0-2 taking up a little bit too much space behind that ball for the defense of X13 to get it out of the corner of their net. It is the third shot for Team Takeover, their second goal, shooting 66%. Pretty great shooting margin at this level of Rocket League, and X13 have fallen a little silent here in the back half of game number 3.
And I believe Tasek might be looking to step it up here, looking for the demo. Pigeon, how evades it perfectly well, and Tasek just gets the demo anyways. It's like, if I can't get you, I'll get your teammate.
Yeah, those follow-through demos will get you. Just the aggression and the speed of Tasek has been everywhere. Looking for another one there, just putting the body on and trying to make the other team panic it by, and if Tasek can get in their head, then you can make people make errors and you don't even have to move. They hear the footsteps, they hear you coming, even if you're not putting that pressure on them, because you've been doing it to them for 2.5 games now. So always looking for where Tasek is on the pitches, this defensive Team Takeover. Now TK got a little bit of room, good 50. Spade deleted by TK, still a dangerous opportunity. Tasek always right where they need to be, but 0-2 just a little bit better, saving it away, and with 30 seconds left, we're still tied to apiece.
0-2 has been stepping up this game with the amazing clears on the backboard, and with that last goal, he has been putting in the work for his team. And with 20 seconds left, he might just need to do a little bit more, because this is a very dangerous ball. Spade does exactly that, sending it over to Pigeon. Might be just a double touch that we need. No! Oh, that is so unfortunate.
So close from Pigeon there, just a little bit wide. 7 seconds left on the clock. A push downfield from X13. Maybe going to get something done, but it'll be cleared away by Pigeon. It'll tap down, both teams opting to play for OT. And in a game of which one of these teams will be dropping down to the lower bracket, we have extra time. TK overrunning the first kickoff. He gets it all the way downfield. 0-2 is there. And Flater, I think that this is how this series was supposed to end. It's been so even. No better way for us to end than in overtime.
Definitely so. Now, we would not like to... I'm not jinxing it. Trust me. I'm not jinxing it, but I do not want to see a whiff on the goal line. Trust me. Tasek in possession of the ball. Gets it over to 2 of them. He's the right touch here. Gets the demo as well. And okay. Okay, Tasek, we have a lot to talk about right now.
Just trying so hard, but the momentum carries him a little bit too far. Spade's going to be there. What a heartbreaker that would have been for Tasek if it was turned right back around as a goal the other direction. X13's in an awkward spot defensively here, looking like they're low on boost. Tasek will get a long clear, give them an opportunity to restock on those big pads. Tide may be able to take advantage of a whiff. Dangerous ball into the box, caught well by Pigeon up to the ceiling. Not able to get, actually they did get their flip. I didn't see them get all 4 of their wheels on that one, but slapped it just enough. And now a very high line from Team Takeover. X13 in the breakout downfield. TK stealing the corner boost. Tasek is there and gets 2 to go, but as we are a minute 15 into overtime, it's been real close a couple of times.
Definitely, and that was a double comment coming in from a takeover, and I'm very surprised X13 wasn't able to take advantage of that up until now. Well, Tide probably looking to hop on that, gets it, almost tries to get it over one of them. TK sending it centered, gets the bump onto Pigeon as well, but the ball, it does not seem threatening at all.
No, and that's kind of been the other thing for X13 is that they've had the upper hand in opportunities, but they have not been quite as threatening. That one from TK though is about as threatening as it gets. All the way to the ceiling, flip, reset, holds it all the way down to freeze the defender, and Tide was there to clean it up even if they had jumped. GG's in the chat from Tasek, but only because he's the last one left from X13. 3-2 in the overtime, and Game 3 win for X13. They move on to the winners final.
What a play there. When we were saying that there is no threat, there's just like, I'm sorry, casters. Are you okay? Do you not see what I'm doing right now? Coming in with the best shot of this series. Oh, and I'm pretty surprised that Tide was able to read his teammates play pretty well, looking for the demo on over to, I believe that was Spade on the goal line. But really good shot coming in from TK. Stepped up when he needed to.
Yeah, and the entire offense for X13 putting 10 shots on frame over the course of that one. Again, they outshoot Team Takeover +6 on that game number 3. So, a lot of it comes down to the offense that they generated. We talked about how they weren't generating a ton of threatening offense, but all it takes is one, especially when you're in golden goal overtime. And TK showed us exactly that. Takes it, buries it, and advances the X13 side into the winners final, where they will face off against a Mook moves. Looks like I can read. There's no N in there. Moves is their opponent next up, and we're gonna take a quick break before we get to that, as we've just got a little bit of setup to do. But a great first series later.
Definitely, I couldn't agree less. What a performance coming in from X13. Team Takeover will be heading into the lower brackets now, where they'll be facing, I believe, could you tell me the team? Excellence. Well, we will find out how that goes. But before we head into the break, I would like to talk a little bit about Overkill Labs. We have partnered with Overkill Labs. They have sponsored this tournament, the newest gaming energy company on the block, but they're about to take over the scene quick because of the quality of their products. I have to say they use these ingredients so clinically, and they have proven to improve gaming performance. Try for yourself at the overkilllabs.com//frost and use code frost for 10% off. All right, stay tuned, guys. We will be back soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Frost Esports Rocket League Twitch stream. Here we are bringing you the Trolley Snowstorm weekly number 16, and we're heading into our winners final. We just got through winners semi with X13, and I've got Flater here with me in the booth. We get to see X13 one more time here, Flater, but now Mook moves their opponents in this winners final. I mean, we know. One team's a known quantity here for us. We've got X13. We just watched them claw their way through a fantastic 3-game series. Now they've got a team who also still hasn't lost in this tournament going up. I mean, at this point, they're the only team, right? Because X13 dropped a game in that last series. Are they the only team left that hasn't lost?
Yeah, I think so. All the other teams are present in the losers brackets. Yeah.
So, but they've not even lost a game all the way through this bracket. They've not dropped anything yet. So they're the last undefeated game undefeated team, and obviously they've got something cooking for them to get this far. So it's kind of all up to X13 now.
And I'm looking at quarterfinals. Seems like Mook Moves was able to beat X13 Black. I believe that is another team from the same organization. And I guess this is going to be pretty exciting. X13 looking to redeem the org, while Mook Moves looking to dominate the entire organization here in winners finals. I guess we will find out soon enough. This is going to be a best of 5 series, and the players are already in.
So we can get right into it. Best of 5, just like Flater said. We've got 5 more minutes on the clock. And some familiar faces and some new faces. X13 staying in the blue for this series as Tasek looks to pick up right where they left off with a drive saved away by one of the players from Mook Moves in the orange, Carved, leading the way, backed up by Sato and Hepti for Mook Moves. And Flater, you had asked me teams that I knew from before that I recognized coming into this tournament. I have not seen them play as Mook Moves, but I have seen Hepti and Sato play before. They're very good, but right now, Tasek, it looks like maybe one of the best to do it. I mean, everything Tasek has touched has turned to gold tonight.
Does seem to be the case. Hefty did not get the right touch there on the goal line. Bit of a whiff, and what Tasek does, reading all the whiffs, capitalizing on them as and when he needs to, is what makes him a good player.
Yeah, and they've been in the perfect spot time and time again, right where they need to be again, there on the sidewall, almost to the point of falling into the ball with no boost for the shot, but will not quite get there. TK across the box, Tasek right on top of it, but it will be saved away all the way in the blue end. Tide chasing it down out to midfield, and X13 double demos. They're just looking pretty locked in here through the first part of this game number 1.
I mean, just like when they went up against Team Takeovers, they look to be the dominant up until now. Let's see if Mook Moves are able to read them as well as Team Takeovers was able to do in game number 2 and almost game number 3.
Yeah, and they just look so clean. You can tell just by the way they rotate around each other on the offensive end that their comms are on point, or at bare minimum, they're very familiar with each other. They know exactly where their teammates are going to be one way or another. That's really led to how just clinical their offense has been so far. Tasek leaves that one for TK. It was looking a little hairy, but managed to get it out of harm's way. Sato stopped by Tide, and TK will be deked out by Carr for just a moment. Can Sato do anything here? Not before Tasek puts it right back over their head. Tide's there for a banger, and Carved the Savior medal. Already 3 saves for Carved, 3 saves for Hepti, and almost a second goal for X13, because it just does not matter. They're going to find a way to break you down.
And that has been solid defense coming in from Mook Move so far. 6 saves coming in from the team. And with that, Stato coming in with the transition shot as high as he could be, and top right corner. I believe TK did not have much boost to work with, but with almost half the game gone, we have tied up.
Yeah, Mook Moves only generating 2 shots on frame so far, and one of those has found the back of the net. So another case in which we're seeing these teams convert at an astonishing rate, but then X13, the opposite side of that coin, as they almost find their second. Sato just barely pushing that one aside. It is a 10% shooting conversion rate for X13 right now. and it continues to go down as they continue to pump goals onto the orange frame and not score them because Mook Moves keeps putting themselves in front. They've got 8 saves now on the shots from X13, and we just passed halftime.
You know what, but shout out to Hard for the quick math that he does with the conversion rates. I mean, and I mean, when you talk about the conversion, you used to say 10%. I'm like, wait, is it? Okay, 4 plus 5 plus 2. Okay, that's true.
Yeah, I used to work in a bank, so the numbers and adding them together quickly, I don't have the same caster math trepidation as some other casters do. But I've also not had a humiliating caster math moment as Tasek pinches this one in on the half volley. The 5th shot for Tasek, the 2nd goal, and X13 continue to just look unstoppable.
I mean, that was a pretty dangerous shot coming in from Tasek. He could have just rolled the ball in, but no, he had to pinch it off the ground up into the top bar of the post. But that carved. Take possession, going up high, rolling thunder down from the heavens, top right corner. Almost gets the shot on target. However, Tasek will be taking possession once again. And, okay, tied. All good
he
there.
wanted that Cookser pinch. He really wanted it, but he just didn't quite get it. It was so close.
1 minute and 30 seconds left. Sado looking for any kind of counter-attacking opportunities here. Carved. Looking for the same good touch there, but tied.
Uh-oh.
Okay, tied.
Tide's looking a little shaky. We've seen a couple misses kind of back-to-back here. They've not like they've been routine misses, but they've definitely been angles that he's made a little bit harder on himself because he's trying to do something a little cheeky, and it's gone a little awry. But fortunately, his teammates are doing a pretty good job of backing him up. And with 53 seconds left, he's going to need to continue to lean on those teammates because Mook Moves are going to be looking to find an equalizer here. Time beginning to tick away from them in game number 1. Still a ton of time left to go in the series, but first game crucial in being able to put together a decent series, one where you don't have to stress too much, and Mook Moves would like to take this first game win.
That seems to be the case now. Mook Moves really need that 1 goal, and they need it right now if they want to take the first game win. However, X13 looking so clean both on the offense and defense that it just seems highly unlikely.
Yeah, and it's really been X13 just kind of managing this game, I think. It's not been them allowing or not being able to break through, but they've just done a better job keeping things under control. And there, as the desperation push for Mook Moves comes out, that is the moment that X13 have been waiting for. TK, a little bit of help from Sado. He puts it inside the post. I think it was going to be wide otherwise, but time ticking down. Sado trying to just make something happen, gets away from him, and at this point, I think Mook Moves, if they hadn't already begun to look forward to game 2, obviously you get down to garbage time to start to reset mentally as you head into the next game, because that's all you really can do at this point. Just got to go next.
Definitely, and this is a best of 5 series, so the next game is not going to be their last opportunity, but they need to start from there. If they can slowly shift the momentum in their favor, by game 3, we might be looking at a reverse sweep if in case they're not able to do anything in game number 2.
Yeah, and I think that Mook Moves definitely had a better back half of that first game. It was not they didn't get blown out the entire way through, but they didn't really start to come alive until it was kind of too late. They didn't have the time to build up into the attack that they would have needed to be able to break down that X13 defense, which has been more of a midfield press defense than the full back defense that Mook Moves has been having to put forward, because it has been 14 shots for X13 and 10 saves for Mook Moves. They're not getting any kind of real offense. They didn't get any kind of consistent offense until well past halftime. And when you put yourself in that position where you're just defending the entire game, it's tough to be able to find offensive purchase, especially against the team that is as quick and as consistent as X13 is.
Definitely. I mean, we saw something very similar when X13 went up against team takeovers. They were always on defense, but they were able to transition them well, while Mook Moves look to be the ones to be struggling on that front. Can they change it though? In game number 2, we will find out soon enough. TK looking for a ground pinch there. Hepty not allowing him any of that to happen. And that is a really good shot on target. Tide sending it to the corner. TK in possession. A lot of touches on the ball, will be getting a lot of space for his team as well. Hepti struggling to take control, gonna be getting a flick over one of them. Tasek, however, reads it perfectly well, and Carved will be taking away possession.
A double flip reset in the middle of the field because nobody's in your face. Sure, why not, Carved? Hepti is going to throw one on frame. Tasek's got probably the easiest save of their life, and Carved will follow that up with a very difficult read, and TK will follow that up off the feed from Tide with a laser beam straight down the center of the goal. 1-0 for X13 yet again.
Even with two people on the defensive post, you can't stop a shot that quick coming in from TK. 45 seconds in. That is 45 seconds, right? Yeah, thank you. 45 seconds in, X13 to take the first goal lead.
See, the trick to the caster maths is just to be super confident with it, even if you're not actually sure if it's right or not. Because who's going to stop you? Who's going to stop you and tell you that you were wrong? You're just going to keep going. You can be like, no, I didn't say that. I had it right. Like, no, it's fine. You just gotta fake it till you make it. You know, that's all that any of this is, even the Rocket League players. But at this point, I think X13 at least have shown us that they are very much not faking it, as Tasek almost finds goal number 2 for X13, just barely kissing off of the crossbar and out. Tied to the backboard. He gets another flip reset. We've seen a ton of flip resets out of both sides in this game number 2. Mook moves have also been looking for the musty clears a couple of times on their way out of the zone, which potentially not helping them find that extra space downfield, as Tide overruns that clear from Hepti just a little bit. He'll hustle back, secure the corner boost, dispossess the ball, and get a decent 50, but can't quite get it out. X13 are going to have to try again. And, yep, there it is. I knew it was coming, so I wasn't going to throw it to you. Carved puts it in. 3:07 for Mook moves, and that is a pretty standard, just I'm going to pass it to myself out of the corner of the ceiling and then tap it in. I want to say that Carved did that on purpose, but we'll never know.
I believe Tasek did have an opportunity to save it. However, he went for a squishy save. I'm not sure how wise of a decision that was. I believe it wasn't wise because, well, they got scored on.
Fair, yeah, that's one way to look at it. The ball going so quickly up to the ceiling is a tough read regardless. Tasek almost finds the go-ahead right back for X13 there, but is denied by the post. Had a couple defenders stacked up in their way as well, and after being back in defense, we'll get one touch. Tide on the follow-up. It can't find Carved there. Tasek was looking for the demo. Tide chasing Hepti downfield and just playing the fly in the ear of the defense of Mook moves, which sometimes, I mean, just having that instigator downfield can really break up defensive rotations. And if you're struggling to break through a very solid defense, sometimes all you need to do is just stick a man upfield and tell them to run into people.
That is exactly what I was thinking. I mean, with the rotations, when they're trying to rotate, X13 always get those physical players in, and that is something that they did not do against team takeovers. So Mook moves are still having a hard time. Even if they have the solid defense, you can evade the car only so many times.
Yeah, and eventually one of the attempts that they come through to bump you, they're going to get. That one should have been in from TK, just diving a little bit underneath the ball, maybe low boost pre-flip. Tag team freestyle aerial downfield from Sato, and Carve doesn't quite work out the way they planned. And Tide downfield is going to be looking for the shot. Can't quite get it. Hepti waiting there in the air to meet TK, but TK with the free win. Sato had it off the backboard, and another opportunity here for X13 to put up some territorial gain here, put down some stakes in the orange end, and really just try to force this through. They've got a minute 15 left, and still they've got to find a breakthrough unless they want to see overtime. Yeah, Tasek's going to do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when I try to throw it to you. They're going to score as I do it. It just doesn't matter.
I mean, that's a really good catch coming in from Tasek, top right corner. Sato probably did not get the timing right to challenge that one, but with that, X13 taking away the 1-goal lead from Mook moves, and this is something that Mook moves have their work cut out for them, because this is not something X13 did when they faced team takeovers, the physical plays, but they're doing it now, and that is what it's making Mook moves struggle.
Yeah, they took it already being a dangerous team, a team that we already knew could really take it to some of these better teams, and added another wrinkle to the formula that makes them so dangerous, and that is that physical play. Carve doing a good job of working it through, but no support to really find any worthwhile offense. Tasek just clears it back downfield. Will rotate all the way out. Time continuing to tick away as TK jumps on top of one, tied with a ripper bar down ski, and the insurance goal is found for X13. Looking like they're going to wrap up game number 2 with a nice little bow.
Tied with a really good positioning there and an extremely good bar down shot, but I mean, it seems like a seal deal for me. X13, even at 1-1, it seemed like X13 had all the possession, all the momentum, all the domination that they have for themselves. But now,
Absolutely.
Mook moves. I don't think they have a chance to come back this game.
No, the biggest difference in what I see when I look at the stats in this one is whereas in game number 1, Mook Moves had all of the saves to contest all of the shots that X13 were putting on the goal. This time they've only got 2. X13 I think they had 13 shots, and Mook Moves could only find saves on 2 of them. And when the shot, and then they only generated 2 shots of their own, and when the differential is that wide, it doesn't matter what level you play in. If you're on the downside of that ratio, it takes so much just luck to be able to win games like this. X13 just cramming it down Mook Move's throat and just not letting up at all. They've got themselves on match point, 1 game away from the grand finals, and Mook Moves really haven't had an answer.
Yeah, and I believe the redemption arc for X13 is underway, taking the series win as well as the pride win. I'd say against for the X13 Blacks loss against Mook Moves.
Yeah, I mean they've very, very, very convincingly stood up to this Mook Moves team. I mean I think they've avenged their X13 Black org mates pretty well. There's only never mind. There's 3. I hadn't hit spectate yet, so I was like, there's only 2 players in the lobby for Mook Moves right now. I have chat off typically, so if anybody had said anything, I wouldn't have seen it, but I'm just blind. And we're into game number 3 here. X13 definitely using their eyes in a full capacity, as literally all 3 players have been near picture perfect in every aspect of their game, at least since we've had them on stream. They've looked very convincing. They continue to look very convincing. Tasek with a wild angle and the wave dash on the wall to celebrate.
I believe that wave dash was a lot more impressive. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 5 wave dashes in a row. What a play coming from Tasek.
It's the new meta. It's the freestylers that work their way into our competitive games, Flater. They find their way here, and then they teach all of these kids with wild mechanics how to do crazy things, and then they just start doing, nutso insane chain dashes on the wall, making massive saves like that one from TK, and barely getting that one away from Sato. Just some chaos.
TK, 3 saves in a row on the goal line. Tasek now looking for a passing play. Tide decides to go for the boost main. Decides to go for the boost there, going for a corner read. Does not have a lot of momentum to work with, and with that heft, he will be clearing that ball. Tasek, however, comes in clutch, does not allow any kind of a counter attack to work. Always there when he needs to be. Tasek, I don't know what else to say for this man. He is everywhere. Look at that, bar down almost. Well, TK trying something similar now. Tide. Tide. That was not even close, Tide.
They were trying to go for it together. They were hoping that if they could pinch that one, maybe wrap it around the bar. But even then, they're running so far up the field, and Mook Moves still can't find a way to beat them back and punish them. So as X13, we see them they're almost goofing off in the corner, looking pretty comfortable. They really are looking like they feel like they've got this series wrapped up, even though they've only got a 1-goal lead. And Mook Moves has done a pretty good job of keeping it within reason. There's not been any blowouts, but I completely agree with the point that you made in the last game, Flater. Even when it was 1-1, it still felt like X13 had control.
Definitely, and it seems to be that way as well. They have the 1-goal lead, and they're not giving Mook Moves any opportunity to maybe get a transition. Even if they are, Mook Moves just doesn't see it. I sometimes don't see it because I see them triple committing a lot, right? Like that last goal where Tide went up last. I see those opportunities coming up, but they are so quick in their recoveries.
They've done a great job of getting back, defending. They know that they're triple committing. It's not a surprise to them that they're triple committing. So they know that they also have to hustle to get back in defense. Here's an opportunity. Solo play from Carved, denied by the defense. Tasek, a 1-2 pass on the outlet, just a little bit wide. Hefty into space for Carved. Can he put it on frame? It's going to be just off the post, and nobody from Mook Moves even has a follow-up. No aggression from the offense, and Mook Moves almost looking like they've thrown the towel in on this game number 3. There's still 2 minutes left, still a ton of time. Hefty can't find it off the backboard. Sato will put it to the backboard pretty softly, and the demo from TK is pretty much going to kill that one. X13, another strong defensive passage, and they're immediately on the front foot as they move into the orange zone as well. Couple touches downfield, Hefty into the box, and it's X13 just waiting for the ball.
This is exactly what I was talking about. X13 having such an intimidating effect on Mook Moves that even if they get the space, they just give it away.
And even when they've got the space and the opportunity to make something happen, then it's just massive saves as TK looks for the musty 50 there. It was a well-communicated ball in the center for Tide as well. Another pass here trying to shovel out for Tasek, but won't be able to get it around Sato. 65 seconds left on the clock. Sato will go from the ceiling, a shot in the box, denied by TK, who's going to be out in transition. A ton of boost, center pass to Tide, and the drive is high and wide. So an insurance goal left on the pitch there for X13, but they do not seem to be bothered by it. They're going to continue to play this very relaxed, very defensive brand of Rocket League. They've just been letting Mook Moves throw the ball at them. They're collecting it and then driving it slowly downfield, bleeding time away, not giving Mook Moves any opportunity to be able to set anything up as they get a couple of touches downfield, but Tide immediately turns it away. And I mean, Carve probably doesn't have a whole lot of boost on the sidewall. He's just used all of it. TK will clear it down, and X13 just continues to tighten this grip that they have around Mook Moves, and 20 seconds left or Mook Moves is going to have to tap out.
That seems to be the case now. With 15 seconds left, they have nothing. They have no momentum as of right now. And Tide coming in with 2 demos in a row. Even if that ball is going center, the players are not present. They have been eliminated from the play. And with that touch coming in from TK, that will be the nail in the coffin. X13 3-0 sweep against Mook Moves. X13 Black feeling proud probably.
X13 Black feeling very well avenged, I am sure, as X13 take the screws to Mook Moves. There was really no room for daylight there as X13 from the jump. I just constricting and squeezing all the life out of Mook Moves. They went from an oppressive offensive attack in the first 2 games of the series to just sitting back and protecting the 1-0 lead for the entirety of game number 3, the closeout and the sweep. As soon as Mook Moves thought that they maybe had an idea of how to get around X13, they completely shift their gameplay strategy, and it works to perfection for them as they punch their ticket to the grand finals.
And that is exactly what they need. They have been able to transition their playstyle, going from all-out offense, all-out pressure, to maybe slow it down. They tone it down. They go to defense. They're able to put in the counter attacks as well. And that is exactly how X13 will be moving into the grand finals. And if we see a redemption match against Team Takeovers, that will be a best of 7 to witness, because with more games, both the teams will have a lot more time to figure out each other's playstyles.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see if any of these guys run up against each other again. Mook Moves could come up and play X13 in the grand final if they can win that losers final. But right now, as I'm looking at the bracket, it looks like Team Takeover was dumped by Team Excellence in the losers quarters. So no spaces for them there. Here it is on the screen as well. The current match going on that we're actually going to be waiting for until we get into our losers final versus, let me think, an Excellence there in the losers semi. So the winner of that will face Mook Moves in the losers final, which we will have next here on stream. But obviously that match has to finish up before we can get there. And then the winner of that losers final will face off against X13 in the grand final with all that prize money on the line. So only just getting to the best part of the night, Flater.
Yep, definitely. And don't you guys go anywhere. We will be back soon with the losers finals. And yeah, we would like to talk about Overkill Labs again. Like I said, the newest gaming energy company on the block, and they are going to be taking over the scene very quickly. The quality of their products, HUD, it is just that good. They use the ingredients clinically, of course, proven to improve the gaming performance. Try for yourself at overkilllabs.com/frost and use code frost for 10% off. Stay tuned, everybody. We will be back soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Frost Esports Rocket League stream. We are here with the Snowstorm number 16 presented by Trolley. Continuing our way through this fantastic bracket, we've got another matchup, the losers final here on the docket. And Flater, we are in for another treat. We got another match and two more teams that are really looking to, I mean, at this point, money's on the line. You win, you go home, or you win, you get money. You lose, you get nothing.
That is exactly it. Losers finals. The winner taking $30 out of the $100 prize pool, and the teams today. Let Me Think versus Mook Moves. We saw Mook Moves' performance against X13, so X13 last series, and they put on a good show. However, it wasn't enough for them to take the win into grand finals, but they have another chance to prove themselves right now against Let Me Think. Going into this game, I am not sure who's going to be taking the win here because I have not seen Let Me Think play before.
It is tough for us to be able to make a super informed decision, at least the impartial informed decision here, because like you said, we've not seen half of the teams in this matchup play before. But with that being said, we know that Mook Moves are coming off of a series in which they got smacked around a little bit. I mean, X13 kind of had their way with Mook Moves in that winner's final. So, coming into a series like this, I'm looking for how game number 1 starts for Mook Moves. If Mook Moves can come out and it looks like they're still a little rattled, they're still a little shell-shocked, because it's not like it's been a long time since we finished that last series. If they come out and they look like they're a step slow because they're in their own heads, I will be concerned for their prospects finding their way back up to that upper bracket. But if they can come out, they can look like because the other side of that is they played a really good team in X13. So they're warmed up. They've played against somebody very quick, very consistent. And obviously, because they're in the bottom bracket, it is not a stretch to assume that Let Me Think is not, air quotes, as good as X13. So maybe Mook Moves will have the leg up because they've already played against who is currently the best team in the tournament.
I mean, that is definitely one way to think of it. We could also consider that they have gone up against the best team of the tournament, and they are ready to take on anything that comes after. So I believe that could just be a warm up for them. It all depends on how they look at the last series. I believe they should look at it as a base foundation for their next few games up against Let Me Think.
Absolutely, especially considering this is just a best of 3 here for the losers finals. There's not a lot of time for these two teams to figure each other out. There's not a lot of wiggle room as far as game length in a series to be able to bounce back if you have a bad start. So coming out in game number 1 is critical for both of these sides, especially considering the money that is on the line. Let Me Think has been in this bottom bracket. They've been on a run for a little bit, I'm not quite sure how long their run has been, but it's at least been 1 game. Pull up the bracket here again, and I can tell you, but getting players onto the pitch now. We're going to put 5 minutes on the clock. Best of 3 to decide who gets to play against X13 in that grand finals, best of 7 for the prize pool. And Let Me Think are going to, it's going to be a slog for them. They've been down here in the losers finals for, this is their third match in the losers bracket. So they've been down here for 3. This is their 3rd game in the losers bracket. So the last 2s were best of 1s. So it's been high pressure, and now they've got to do this best of 3 against a very good Mook Moves team.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the team name and how our producer is trying to get around it, trying to ask them the actual questions. But with that, the best of 3 has now begun. Let Me Think versus Mook Moves, a best of 3 series to decide who is gonna be getting definitely be getting the shorter chunk of the prize pool and also getting a shot at the bigger one.
Yeah, it's all about the money now. They've come this far. Nobody wants to go home empty-handed. There's nothing quite like 3rd place when there's only 2 prize spots, so neither of these teams want to be that side looking out. As Mook Moves gets things going here at the beginning, they're already threatening, already looking very strong in the offensive end. Carved has 2 shots on goal in the first 30 seconds, and Mook Moves have come out flying, which is exactly what we wanted to see from them after a rough series loss against X13.
And that is a really good start. Like I said, Mook Moves like, getting the right inspiration from the last series. Look at that pass from Hepti and no, from Zero rather, and Hepti coming in with a top right corner shot, 116 kilometers per hour, and that's a really good shot.
Yeah, the perfect placement for Hepti and the perfect start for Mook Moves as they get that first goal on the board. They've got a lead, and they will keep that lead by a hair's breadth. Hepti gets in front, and now a breakout for Sato all the way down to the backboard. Pigby will take it off the backboard, and with that, the roster here for Let Me Think, because we've not said their names in order yet. Al Ghul, Pigby, and Manzar Flying, the three players in blue for Let Me Think. Some fantastic team names, some great player names, and some great Rocket League. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the team names are, what the player names are, because the Rocket League is always top tier. As that one almost goes in, it's going to find the back of the net from Carved. We couldn't see it because he was being blown up, but find its way it did, and it's a 2-0 lead for Mook Moves.
As you were saying the term top tier, Sato came in with a crossbar shot that went out, but luckily Carv was able to put that one in, and so it is actually top tier, saved, very much saved. Now, Carved had the possession of the ball, got the boost as well, sending it over to Hepti. Hepti needs the right touch here, however, he's not going to be getting it. Carved coming in clutch, sending it over to Eagle with a really good 50 coming in from Sato. He needs that right center touch over to Hepti. Hepti looking to get that shot on target, but a good save coming in from Manzar Flying. That is also grammatically incorrect. Wow, okay. Nice.
It's Rocket League. Grammar doesn't matter here in Rocket League. All that matters is hit ball, and these players doing a great job of just that. Carved makes another big save, continues to protect this 2-0 lead for Mook Moves, and Mook Moves kind of doing an X13 here. They've really shut down Let Me Think. Only allowed them to get 2 shots on frame. Nothing's been particularly threatening. They've been pretty easy saves from Mook Moves, and Let Me Think just hasn't quite gotten their offensive legs underneath of them. And in a longer series, that wouldn't be that big of a deal, but you lose this one, you're immediately on facing up against the match point, and the pressure just gets that much higher. And Let Me Think is going to want to close this game number 1 down. They're definitely not going to want to let Hepti score a third. They'll get away just a little bit and will survive for just a moment longer as Mook Moves looking to push back in one more time. Sato into the box, denied by Al Ghul, and Let Me Think is going to have to retool.
They're trying their level best to get a counterattack working, but the possession plays coming in from Mook Moves have been absolutely phenomenal. The 50s are just not giving them any space to work with to get a counterattack going. That might just be one, however. Pigby in possession of the ball, looking for the bump as well. He gets it. El Ghul, however, not getting the right touch to close that one out, while Sato is going to be clearing it over to Carved.
Carved almost had an infield pass there. Hepti lying in wait, but couldn't quite connect as didn't have enough boost in the tank. Pinch all the way back out to Carved, all the way to the ceiling. It'll be a little bit wide, and Pigby will have an opportunity to get it out. Can't quite find it past Sato. Carved looking for the goal steal, and instead it's going to slow it down just enough for El Ghul to push it away. A minute 25 left, and what would have been the third goal there for Mook Moves is not converted on. I feel like they're probably not too pressed about the fact that they couldn't find a goal there. They're pretty comfortable with this 2-goal lead, and with only 70 seconds left on the board, Sato really trying to reach to get out there. Carv's going to get another shot, and Mook Moves just continues to live here in the blue end.
That seemed to be the case. They're not getting any space to work with, let alone get a shot on target, and that is, well, okay.
Wrong
very
team,
interesting. I mean, they are trying their level best. Look at this. They get these touches. It's just the last touch that they struggle with, but that might not just be it. Manzar Flying coming in with the right demo in the right moment, while Pig B just walks the ball in. Sato is not going to be saving that one. What a shot coming in from Let Me Think, and they have cut down the deficit in half.
Yeah, that's a big play, and just as we were saying how it just wasn't quite working what they were doing, they changed it up a little bit. They looked for that physical play, and they jam it home. Carved couldn't quite flick that one inside the post. Somehow he managed to just pin that one right against the woodwork. Manzar Flying is going to have a coast-to-coast air dribble, but at that point it was more of a falling with style cross field, just kind of behind the ball, because he was out of boost for most of it. Al Ghul puts it into the box, And Manzer flying and Carved have a 50. It drops to Al Ghul, who's going to rifle home an equalizer. Late stages here in game number 1, and let me think have been activated here, and they've got themselves a tying goal.
And in the last minute as well, you'd think that the pressure would finally get to them in game number 1, but no. Look at those touches, look at the passing plays. They have been quite phenomenal. And maybe, just maybe, they are able to close this one out even before overtime if they have the momentum in their favor.
Yeah, and one more shot downfield here for Let Me Think. Can they get anything into the back of the net? It's going to be Al Ghul to the backboard. Carved with a pretty easy save, but still 2 players in blue threatening there at the front of the zone. Not looking like it's going to work out there for her. Let Me Think, and Manzer flying rather than try to put that one off the backboard, will play it down to the ground. And in extra time, 2-2, these two teams, 11 shots for Mook Moves, 8 for Let Me Think. It's been a pretty even game so far, but Let Me Think has controlled the last half of this game number 1. They've got the momentum here in the extra time, and they've got the first shot. Sato takes it away from Al Ghul. 15 seconds have come and gone, and Let Me Think are going to end it there. 20 seconds in, Manzer flying finds the game winner. All over the pitch was Manzer flying, and he finds a come-from-behind game win for Let Me Think.
We definitely sent the ball flying there into the net to take the first game win against Team Mook, I believe. And with that, Let Me Think unexpectedly get the first game win as well in this best of 3 series, and Mook Moves suddenly just seem outskilled.
Yeah, I mean, they controlled the first like 2.5 minutes of this game, and then kind of out of nowhere, as soon as Let Me Think scored that first goal, they took over. They had the majority of the control throughout the rest of the game, and then they found the winner in overtime before Mook Moves could really get any chances downfield. And Let Me Think very much stealing away that game, I think, especially after the way that it started with Mook Moves just kind of coming out of the gate swinging. Let Me Think could stop their momentum dead and then turned it around to scrap out a game number 1. And now they're on match point. They're 1 game win away from being able to play in the grand finals after a 3-match lower bracket run, which is nothing to scoff at. So they're real close. They just got to find one more.
Mook Moves, well, I believe they did have the control throughout the entire game, right? If they can get that working throughout the next game, we might be seeing a game 3 here. Mook Moves looking to secure their place in game number 3, and then in the grand finals, everything on the line for Mook Moves.
It is definitely all to play for here. They're the only ones in charge of their own destiny here, and it's a decent start for Let Me Think as they get a kickoff win, but can't generate a whole lot out of it. It's a big bump on Manzer flying from Sato, looking for another bump, and he's going to pull shot Pigby into it. It looked like, wasn't quite sure who had that touch, but Sato getting it done downfield for Mook Moves. What a redirect.
Sato definitely was looking for the ball, but he is going to be taking the car. It's a goal that matters, and within the first 12 seconds, they've already secured the 1-goal lead. And Mook Moves, just like last game, seem to be the dominant so far in the early stages. Can they keep it up, though? That is the real question here.
That is what they were unable to do in game number 1, so definitely a question to be asked of this team. It has not been their strong suit holding on to leads, and they've got to find a way to get it done here. Really no other option than to get it done. They've got that 1-goal lead. Can they keep this Let Me Think offense out of their own goal for enough time to be able to secure that spot in game number 3? Because they've still got to win that 3rd game. They want to find a way. It's going to be Manzer flying with another rip to the side. Top bins, but saved away by Carved. And Let Me Think are putting a lot of pressure on here. They want to find this equalizer quick. Another shot from Manzer flying, saved again by Carved, who's had their number on the defensive end. Let Me Think they have not relinquished possession, very much have set up shop here on the orange end.
They are applying a lot of pressure here, and Mook Moves are slowly running out of boost. Carved here As 100 boost to his name, he's going to be sending it over to Sado, and Sado getting the final clear that he needed. Mans are flying, takes away possession, sending it over to Carved, and Carved almost getting the top left corner shot. Hepty trying for the same hand. That is not the wisest challenge there. Mans are flying still, once again in possession of the ball. A minute and 30 seconds in, they are applying a lot of pressure, and Mook moves are failing to hold even the first goal lead. I mean, they are holding it so far. I'm not trying to predict anything. They might just be securing another one here. However, the possession has just been going away. Back to let me think every single time.
They've done a pretty good job of sitting back and absorbing it. They've just not really been able to find anything. Sado almost tucks that one underneath the crossbar, and instead it's going to be Hepty, who right at the 2-minute mark is going to tuck this one away. Sado should have had that one on the pinch. Hepty makes sure it goes in, make sure his teammates' effort is not for nothing. And it's an insurance goal found here for Mook Moves. They turn it around, but we are right back where we were in game number 1, where Mook Moves had a 2-0 lead and then ended up losing. So this is a let me think squad that is not out of this by any stretch yet.
Definitely, they know how to tackle the late game nerves. They know how to take games even when they are down 2 or 3 goals. But as of right now, we have not seen anything fruitful coming up from them.
Yeah, they've been knocking at the door, just haven't quite been able to find that final touch to get it across the line, and that's one thing that Mook Moves are very good at. We know that they're very good at it because that is one of the ways that they were able to find any kind of purchase against X13, was being able to just change pace of play, be a little bit adaptable. X13 was a little bit better at it, as Carved finds an open space. Manzar flying, can't find the save, but Carved can't find the shot either. So what would have been the first goal there will not be, or the third goal, pardon me, for, I know which team is which. I know which player plays for which team. Orange and blue are very contrasting colors, and I swear that I know the difference, even though I have really been struggling with that apparently tonight. Sado can't find that save. Manzar flying is going to be denied by Carved, who gets another save. Carved has been all over the pitch, and again, Mook Moves really just are tightening that vice grip around Let Me Think.
Definitely, the bumps coming in from Mans are flying are the things that have been keeping them out of danger, but they're not able to transition it back into an attack, and that is exactly what they need right now. However, with a save like that, that might just be possible. Pick B, 1 save, 2 on the goal line now. Sado is gonna be sending that one down over to Mans are flying, and that might just be the opportunity that they were looking for. Mans are flying, getting the first goal for his team. Sado with a very risky touch there, and reasonably so, the team gets scored on.
Yeah, and the doubt starts to creep in here. If you are Mook Moves, we're having a little bit of deja vu, where Mook Moves gets themselves a 2-goal lead. They feel pretty comfortable, and then they drop it immediately. El Ghul with a fake. Hepty makes the first save. Cards there for the follow-up in a second on the drive from Manzar flying. Is going to keep that 2-goal lead by the skin of their teeth, but dangerous times there and nervy moments for the defense of Mook Moves, as Let Me Think continues to threaten. 45 seconds left. Will Let Me Think be able to replicate that game 1 heroics and at least force overtime here in game 2?
They seem to be knocking on that same front here. They are trying to get those passing plays working finally in the last few minutes. Pick B, everything to his name, looking for a bar down shot. However, won't be the case. And Sado with the most risky plays you'd find in the last 20 seconds. Will he be able to convert it though? Okay, Sado actually making it worth this time. What a pass, and Carved from one goal to the other, just shoots it downfield, and that is a 2-goal lead for Mook Moves, and Mook Moves live to see game number 3.
Looking like they're going to live to see game number 3. This is an interesting kickoff, but nice stop there by Sado on the way back through, and Hepty taking that one away from Pigby. It's still dangerous here into the box. El Ghul is going to dunk it in, and with 6 seconds left, it's not quite over yet. More than enough time for a goal to be scored off the kickoff here. If you are a supporter of Mook Moves, you got to be shaking in your boots right now, because Let Me Think has not gone away.
I mean, did I speak too soon? That is just a 1-goal deficit, and with the right kickoff, they did get the right kickoff. Will they take the possession though? El Ghul missing out on the possession, and we might just be going into game number 3 here. Yeah, definitely Carved taking the possession away from both the players, and Mans are flying, not going to be taking that one off the ground. Mook moves. Live to see another day.
Live to fight at least one more. Another knockdown, drag out brawl between these two teams. Let me think, trying their best to just make Mook moves really, really scared there at the very end. They kept it close all the way through. They didn't let Mook moves get too comfortable with their lead, stayed right on them. And I think that more than anything is going to really benefit them as we head into this last game of the series.
And we are just gonna be getting the most exciting game ever, because the first place X13, they were pretty dominant against Mook moves, and this might just be the deciding factor of who takes second place most probably. I am rooting for X13 because the way they have played has been absolutely phenomenal, but this might just be the most exciting game that we see in the losers brackets. The losers finals, Mook moves versus let me think, everything to play for, money on the line, and we will be getting right into it.
Critically money on the line. Winner gets a shot at a prize pool. Loser leaves empty-handed. All to play for here for both of these teams. Let me think, not quite able to get it done in game number 2. Mook moves are going to be riding high after a decent win. I don't think that I would call it a dominant win, because let me think was still
Only
right there at the very end. But it doesn't matter. The last 2 games don't matter now. All that matters is this last 5 minutes. Winner leaves with some money on their pocket. Loser has nothing to show for a night of Rocket League besides some nice replays and maybe a couple clips of something they did with casters yelling in the background, which, is nice enough on its own.
Yeah,
but,
pretty good.
Some cash is nice to have too. So it's going to be, let me think, looking to find that one more win, and they're going to get off to a great start as Al Ghul puts one top right.
And that is the first time, let me think, are going to be taking the goal lead at this early into the game, and that might just be a statement set up against Mook moves. Mook moves, who always take the first goal, will now be thinking, like, what is their strategy here now?
Yeah, it's got to be a little concerning for them, because this is not a situation they've been in very much, and maybe it's a good feeling for them. Maybe for the side of Mook moves, they can breathe a sigh of relief, because now they don't have anything else. This part has already kind of come to fruition. The nightmare has already come true, and they've got to dig their way out of it rather than having it all crumble around them. They can start from playing behind and work their way back there. They've looked decent on a couple passes downfield, but they also almost conceded a second goal, let me think, and only got away with a stellar save from Carved. A little bit of a giveaway there from Hefty. Carved will bail him out again. That's going to be Pigby getting Carved to go. A masterful fake on the side. Sato, however, will not bite. It's going to get that clear into the blue end and maybe generate an opportunity here for Mook moves. Carved with a shot. Al Ghul can't find it over the bump, and Carved is going to get the equalizer here for the orange side.
Like you said, chasing a lead might just be the way to go for Team Mook moves, and they are off to a good start. They got the goal that they needed, but now I don't think they would want to chase the lead up into the last seconds of the game. They have taken the first goal now, the second goal of this entire game, and they are now looking to take the lead. Mans are flying, however, looking for a ceiling shot, flies down from the ceiling, and Hefty trying to do something similar with the ball there, Pigby rather. And that might just be a shot on target, but Sato coming in with the right save. El Ghul looking for a pass over down center. Pigby trying to do something similar. Mans are flying, decides to go back. A wise decision. Needs a really good 50 coming in from Carved. Carved decides not to challenge at all. I'm not sure whether that was the wisest of the decisions. That's possession being given away. Hefty trying to take it away again. However, Mans are flying. Gets it over one of them. That's 2. Really good intercept coming in from Carved. El Ghul still down center, but a really good intercept coming in from Pigby. Sato, however, will be taking the possession away. El Ghul still right there where he left the ball off. Hefty gets the possession downfield, and El Ghul once again will be taking control.
Lots of balls into space, but not a lot of follow-ups from either team. Teams are getting good touches out into threatening areas, but they're not really committing to sending a man forward to be on the end of those passes. Both these teams kind of sitting back. It's a dangerous team bump between Manzar Flying and Pigby, but good recovery from Manzar Flying to force it back down. He forces a bad touch out of Hefty too. It's going to put Carved in an awkward spot, but El Ghul with nothing in the tank really can't get a whole lot going there out of the corner. Now he's going to have to hustle back. Still empty, secures the corner boost, and will cut in front of Manzar Flying. A little bit of a double commit, but the whiff from Hefty, will at least slow that attack down. Carved a great bounce shot off the ceiling, won't be converted on. Pigby a long clear, and now it is time for Whom Let Me Think to take over, and Carved with 2 touches pretty much flips that directly on its head. A minute 50 left. It looks like overtime could be in the offing here in game number 3, and what a better way to finish this losers final.
That does seem to be the case. However, with a minute and 40 seconds left, both the teams have a lot of time to set up more and more attacks like Sado right about now. The caster skirts is true. Sado, as soon as you said that, within the next 5 seconds, scoring a beautiful shot on target. El Ghul and Pigby both try to get a piece of that ball. However, it was too little too late, and team Mook moves take the goal lead.
Yeah, they've been playing well. They started down a goal, and now they've scored 2 unanswered to take the lead. So maybe that just a wake-up call is what they needed. Pigby almost with the doink puts that one underneath the crossbar, and instead it's going to be Sado that gets all the way out. Manzar Flying, a weak shot saved pretty easily, pretty confidently by Hefty. Long clear from Carved is going to force Pigby into action. Makes a great stop, and now it's an opportunity for El Ghul and Manzar Flying. Sado immediately sniffing that one out. 60 seconds separating this Mook Moves team from a rematch with X13 in the grand finals, and $30 at least in their pockets. Let me think. They absolutely shocked us in game number 1 by coming out and just mounting a massive comeback. Will it be for nothing as a 3rd goal is found for Mook Moves? Carved puts an insurance one home, and it's a mountain to climb for Let Me Think.
And definitely, this is what happened in the first game. However, the pressure this time for team Let Me Think is going to be a lot more as compared to game number 1. Will they be able to take the 2-goal lead down once again in the last 40 seconds? We'll find out soon enough. They're going to be trying. Manzar Flying looking for the ball touch. However, El Ghul Carved rather with a really good clear. Hefty missing on the ball. Pigby looking for a shot over to Manzar Flying, but a really good save coming in from Sado. El Ghul trying something similar. Sado, however, sending it over to Carved. Carved now has a lot of space to work with. El Ghul, however, eliminating him out of the equation, and El Ghul once again will be sending it over to Pigby. Pigby has a lot of boost to work with, looking for a flip reset. However, I don't think that was a way to go here. A solo play in that moment should not have been your plan, and with that, Mook Moves look to seal the deal, and they definitely do. Mook Moves moving on into the grand finals, where they will be facing their nemesis X13.
Rematches in the grand finals are the best part about double elim brackets. Mook Moves are going to have an opportunity to take back on that X13 squad that sent them down here to face off against Let Me Think in the first place. Mook Moves showing that they are the better team here. They don't deserve to be in that lower bracket. They're going to have another shot at the grand finals, and Flater, this has been honestly like one of the strongest last runs that I've seen through a tournament in a while. Like, it's not one of those tournaments that you get to sit down and get to watch one team just kind of punch every other team around and then run away with the money. Every team tonight has played their hearts out, and it has been great to watch these teams slug it out. And as we approach our last match, it has really been just a phenomenal. We've got probably the best match of the tournament coming up next.
And even X13, the ones that are already present in the grand finals, were pretty much struggling against Team Takeovers. They won in Game 3 overtime. So it's not like they had a dominant performance. Every team has something to show for themselves. It is unfortunate that Team Takeover then moved on to lose into the losers bracket. But they did play pretty well against the winning team there. And now in the grand finals, Mook Moves have a chance once again to prove themselves against X13.
Absolutely. And that is going to be coming up just after our short break as we head into that. That's going to shout out Overkill Labs once more. Super happy to have partnered with them, newest gaming energy company on the block. Going to be taking over the scene very quickly. Their products all very high quality, using clinically proven ingredients that will improve your gaming performance. Try for yourself at overkill-labs.com/frost and use code FROST for 10% off. So make sure you check out Overkill. Make sure you do not go away, because just after this break, we are going to be back with the grand finals of this Snowstorm number 16 presented by Trolley. You're not going to want to miss it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Frost Esports Rocket League Twitch channel. We are here with the number 16 Frost Esports Snowstorm weekly tournament presented by Trolleys. And now we are in for the best of 7 grand finals of X13 versus Team Mooks. Mook Moves. Sorry, Mooks. I think that's a very cute name there. But here, both the teams already secured a little bit of money. But now it decides who takes what.
Yeah, who takes the lion's share of it when it all comes down to it. So both these teams fighting for the larger part of the $100 prize pool. $70 going to the first place team, only 30 to the second place team. So all to play for here. And we've got a best of 7 underway. The upper bracket team, being X13 in the blue, has got a game in hand. So even though this is the first game we're playing, it is game number 2. Tasek almost getting game number 2 off to a great start. TK there again. We've not seen X13 in a little bit, but they have picked up right where they left off. 3 shots on frame in 15 seconds. And the Mook moves have got to be like, man, that the one
Not again.
the series we got in between that was so nice, so relaxing, and now we've got to do this again. But Tide looking for the musty. Hefty makes the save, and if this is any indication of how this series is going to turn out, I think we're in for a good one.
Definitely so many shots on target. I believe that is a total of 5 shots on target in a matter of 30 seconds coming in from X13. But hats off to Mook moves, though. They have been holding their ground pretty well. The saves and the inline passes coming in from X13 have been phenomenal so far. But Mook moves, solid defense. Can they transition it? That is exactly what they were struggling with in the upper bracket semifinals. But now they have a chance to prove themselves against it.
That was a close one from Tasek, another close one from Tide. He took his time trying to turn that one around and just didn't quite have enough space to get it inside the post. An opportunity from Carved will be shoved away by Tasek, and both teams going punch for punch up and down the pitch. Hefty with a drive, can't split the D. Tide gets credit, and we'll get a flick out through midfield to clear the lines for a moment. A boost steal from Carved, give and go for Sato, can't connect. Hefty behind the ball is going to take a snapshot, and Tasek from the rafters clears it away, continues to keep this a 0-0 game. Sato looks backside, Tasek and TK there for the save, and as Tide is deleted, Mook moves still trying to find that first goal.
Yeah, Sato now will be taking possession in his own half, and he is not going to be taking possession, and Tasek is going to be taking the first goal for his team. That is painful to see Sato struggling to take control of the ball right when he needed to. And with that, in a matter of 2 minutes, X13 going up 1 goal.
So many shots, so many opportunities for both teams. It's honestly kind of remarkable. That's been the first goal that we've seen, because it's been a lot of high-quality looks, but a lot of high-quality saves as well, as Carve takes that one over midfield. TK, a long ball into the orange end, looking for the one-on-one against Sato. Can't win the 50. Tasek there, gonna bail out, didn't get the corner boost away from the orange defender. Tide will take Carved off the pitch. TK up very aggressively as third man. It's a critical 50 that they made, but it's not going to do anything more than just secure X13's rotations back. Long ball to the backboard for Sato, dealt with well by TK, and X13 are masters at this. Now all they've got to do is sit back. Mook Moves knows better than anybody what it feels like to play against an X13 squad that just lets you rail against them and gives you no extra room.
I mean, that has been the case so far. Even while being on defense, they just look so clean. And
Okay,
look at
Tide.
that shot transition coming in from Tide, almost getting the top left corner shot and the clip of the tournament, maybe with that double flip reset. However, not gonna be the case. Carved with a really good clear over to the corner. TK coming in with an amazing touch there. This is exactly where X13 shines, right? They can get those second touches as and when it is necessary. They're not giving any those 1v1s with individual players is exactly where they make it count.
And their 50s are on point. They do a great job making sure they position themselves well when they approach those 50s, not giving anything easy up. And it leads to a lot of great attacking opportunities for them, as well as they take players off the pitch with those possession touches, just take them out of the play, or physically as Tasek deletes Carved there as well. So continuing to push downfield. Here's X13. They've only got a minute 20 left to protect this 1-goal lead. They're still threatening for a second, but also acknowledging that it is more important that they defend here. A rare 50 win for Carved over top of Tide. It's not going to really get anywhere as Carved opt to take the demo on TK. And Tasek deletes Carved. It's real hard for Mook Moves to get their feet underneath them here in game number 1, because it really has been X13 countering everything at every step, whether that is a good 50, whether it's a strong defense, or it's just a lot of bumps and demos. They've just not let Mook Moves get comfortable.
And comfortability is not something that they're going to be finding this game or the upcoming games, while they still try to make this an equalized game, because Mook Moves struggling to even keep possession of the ball there, and when they do, well, just like that, they just give it away. TK Hepti with a really good intercept. Tasek, however, not getting the right contact with the ball, and Sado had the opportunity to equalize there, but that might just count.
Oh no!
And, to the opposite.
Man!
Tasek coming in clutch even after the double demo. Hepti just gave it away. He thought it was an open net. I mean, I would believe it was an open net. 2 people already died there.
Right,
like, okay, yeah.
2 people. The only player on the field for X13 at that point is the one that scores the goal. TK and Tide haven't even spawned back in yet. And the Mook Moves are just running so high up the field, so heavy pressure that all it takes is one touch from the sole X13 player left alive to score a goal. And X13, they've taken game number 2 now because they had that game in hand. They put themselves up 2-0 in a series. All they needed to do was score 1. That first goal they scored was the game winner. The second one was just for insurance. They led the way. I mean, wire to wire in that game number 2. Mook Moves, they had a couple looks, but outside of that, X13 just shut them down.
Well, Mook Moves now still have 2 games to go. They still have 2 games to go to prove themselves against X13, and they were almost able to. Sado had the shot on target to put this into overtime, so it's not possible. It is definitely possible for Team Mook Moves to take a game win, at least one game win against X13. They just need to get all of their affairs in the offensive front in order.
It is definitely easier said than done because the defense for X13 is just so quick. Mook Moves really don't have a whole lot of time to think about what having their offensive affairs in order necessarily entails, because if they take a little bit too long to even get out of their own zone, they've got an X13 player right in their face. And then even when they take 2 X13 players off the pitch, they say, all right, you can't be in our face if we delete you. Tasek still finds a way to score a goal off of it. It's literally a 3-on-1 for Mook Moves, and they still concede. And that, more than anything, I think, is where X13 is really going to be able to just kind of bull rush their way through this final, because Mook Moves has not been super great at protecting their back line, especially when they get down early in a game. We saw them in the last series where they weren't super great at protecting leads, and now they start from behind, and X13 just is a little bit too strong on the defensive side for Mook Moves to get anything going.
I mean, now they're doing the wise thing of keeping possession, right? That's a start. When you start keeping possession, you have more opportunities to score shots on target.
Definitely a change of pace, a change of tactic here for Mook Moves, but it is going to be a pretty hefty undertaking here. They want to find a way over this X13 side that has looked unstoppable. They're still threatening. Tasek gets a 50 on Sado there to at least keep the ball relatively neutral. A win from TK. Going to count as a shot. Carved has an easy catch save, but not out of the woods yet. Tasek to the backboard. Hepti, critical save off the crossbar to keep the putback attempt from coming through. Tide's going to have a long clear. Carved back in rotation. Will leave it for Sado. Both boosts secured by Mook Moves there, mid and corner. So a good defensive rotation for them. They're in a good spot for an offensive crack, and pretty easy save for TK in the follow-up as well. Just like you said, Flater, the second touches from X13, impeccable. They follow their own touches up very well. They're always in the right spot to find those 50s and put them right where they want them.
And but that might just be not the case here. And but almost getting the touch coming in from X13, the first goal for the game number 3. Yeah, this is 3, technically 2, but 3. Always confusing, isn't it? Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. It's the second game, but it's also the third game, and it's it's good Rocket League, and that's what matters at the end of the day. But currently, if you are Mook moves, the only thing that matters at the end of the day is that you figure out how to get the ball past X13, because you've not quite cracked that puzzle yet.
Oh, no.
That's a big whiff, and Tide's gonna get one for free. Think about the easiest goal Tide could have asked for here. The nerves from Mook moves starting to rear their head as Carve just really, I mean, he whiffs it. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Whiff that one off the ceiling, and it's a 1-0 lead for X13.
With 2 minutes left, Mook moves once again in the 1-goal deficit. They need that. They need an offensive play working in their favor. It's very difficult. I agree. I mean, you pointed out before, it's difficult. It's more difficult said than done. But it's just not working out for them. But they need to find a way. That is exactly how they're going to be having any chance. Otherwise, this is gone and done case. A 4-0 sweep in this best of 7 series would not be a good look. They take position number 2, but you can always improve. Adaptability is something that I'm looking for from Mook moves.
And it's something that we've not seen a lot from Mook moves, because like at this point, it's just nothing has worked. Nothing they've tried has worked, and they've gone for a couple of different tactics. There's the demo play. Hefty's going to get it all the way downfield, but Tide will save it.
Oh
and
my
another
God.
save from Tasek, massive save from Tasek, is going to keep it 1-0. And that's been the story of all of this. Every team that's gone up against X13 has had to deal with the fact that they've got 3 stellar players on the pitch. And if you can beat one, that's great, but there's still 2 more that you have to somehow find a way to get around, as Hefty discovers that yet again. Tasek finds another phenomenal save right where they need to be, and more time ticking away from Mook moves. Carved, though, is going to take this one short side, top left corner, and a critical goal here for Mook moves.
What a pass coming in from Hefty, and Carved with the perfect touch. A second early or a second late, you would not have gotten the right position on that ball, and with that, Mook moves secure the first goal in this series.
Almost given a free one back there was X13. Looking like they might have had a whiff, but bailed out at the last moment. Hefty is applying some pressure upfield. This is a good turnaround for Mook moves. They found that goal, proved to themselves that they can do it. They've broken that seal, and now the wall that had been built in front of X13 has been exposed. But Tasek, hard shot to the backboard. Tide is there. Tasek trying to tie up Hefty, and instead it'll be Tide with the shot saved by Sato. And 10 seconds left. We might see overtime here in game number 3. Would be a pretty appropriate overtime here. Maybe an opportunity for moves to find a quick goal, unless Tasek has anything to say about it, but unfortunately can't keep it up. Extra time for the first time here in the finals, Flater. Who you got?
I'm just gonna say X13 because look at Tasek go. Look at Tasek go. He almost got the bar down shot as well. Sato in the position to save the shot. He saves it twice there, but Tasek still lingering around. He needs to get the possession once again, and he gets it. TK looking for the bump play, and is he gonna be getting it? Sato reads it perfectly well, gets the clear as well. 20 seconds in, and Team Mook moves already on the back foot. Tide taking possession, almost gets it over Carved, but Carved with a really good intercept. Sato missing on the goal line, and Carved still there to pick up the pieces on that defense. Sato takes possession. Is going to be going up high. Tasek, with the little boost he has, still gets the touch to give it back to his team. TK in possession.
Dangerous touches throughout here for both teams. They're really starting to threaten on both sides. Defense is starting to get worn down a little bit as this overtime starts to stretch. It's been a long tournament for both of these teams. Started at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's just about 11 now, so over 3 hours elapsed over the course of this tournament, and this is just the final series now, and we're just adding to the runtime with overtimes as Sato has a drive turned aside by TK. Another great 50. Double commit up in the corner for Mook Moves. Gonna have to be careful about how they approach this next attack as Tasek long clear to Hepti. It's a very good touch from Hepti, though, to get this one right back into the blue end. Phenomenally done from Hepti, but then they really can't get anything else going. Tasek, another carry, really has been the catalyst for X13 everywhere they need to be, nowhere where they don't. Tasek getting it done and trying to find this game winner for X13 in game number 3 to put them on what could be tournament point.
Now, Team Mook Moves are having a better show of performance as compared to the entire game. In this overtime, they have been doing pretty well. They have been on the offensive front, and that might have been the shot to close this game out. However, Tide coming in with the clutch, and Sato once again will be taking possession, intercepted by Tide, and that is a bit of a double commit there, but Sato, right where he needs to be, keeps the ball out of his own net. But TK has something to say about that with Carved, though. What a save coming in from Carved. That could have ended right there, but TK with amazing, these are some amazing exchange of defense here from both the teams. It cannot get better than this.
No, I mean, Carved making a save on TK, and then TK immediately making a save on Carved on the other end. Everybody looking for pre-jumps off the backboard, and Tasek is going to find TK on the no-boost pre-flip from the corner for the dagger here in Game 3.
What a way to close out this overtime. Almost half the game into the overtime, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. What a play to close it out. Off the corner, right into the free flip, top left corner shot on target. X13 TK with 666 points, quite poetic as well. They move on to match point in this best of 7.
Yeah, TK absolutely just showing out here in game number 3, getting it all done, showing up, putting in the cycle here for his team. 1 stat in every category, every column, and then the number of the beasts there in the score category. That is exactly what TK has been for X13, been a demon all over the pitch, getting everything done, but so has Tasek, and so has Tide. It has been a full team effort for X13, and that is the only way that you get to a grand finals and be 1 game away from a 4-0 sweep, which is only 1 goal away from currently being a perfect sweep. I mean, they've held Mook Moves to a single goal. They've only scored 2 more goals total than Mook Moves have through these last 2 games. So it's not like it's been this huge blowout affair, but X13, again, we're in the same position where even though they're winning these close games, they are undeniably in control the entire way through.
Definitely the defense coming in from X13 throughout this tournament has something to be inspired from. This defense is this is where the saying comes from, right? The greatest offense is the best defense. Or is it the other way around? Oh, it is the other way around. However, they make it work.
You ask. And obviously, if you ask Hepti, he thinks that the defense is good offense. But you're not wrong. The best offense has been a good defense for X13 to this point. Obviously, this is not a great start for them. 2 seconds into what could be the last game of the night is not going down 2 seconds in is not the best look. But at the same time, absolutely zero reason for X13 to panic right now. They know that they have had this Mook Moves team's number. And, this is a little bit of a different look. Maybe it's a little bit more of a challenge because you got to play from behind if you're X13. But, Mook Moves have not exactly been the most convincing team when playing with a lead. So we'll have to see which Mook Moves shows up here in a game that they have to win if they want to have a chance at that first place prize pool.
I mean, we might just be seeing a low-scoring game here after that first goal. But Team X13, even though they have nothing to worry about, they would want to keep their cards close to themselves, keep possession, maybe go for long shots, however, nothing too fancy. Tasek, however, trying to prove me wrong, sending it over to Tide. TK, top corner shot, saved by Carved followed by Tide, and an amazing save coming in from Sato as well. Tasek will be taking possession here. TK sending it over to Tide. Tide with a doink back to TK. And a bit of a confusion there on whoever's going to be going for the ball in the corner, and Carved taking advantage of that. Tide last man back, 50 boost to his name, sending it over to Tasek. Tasek decides to go back, a wise decision. Would not want to interrupt your teammate when he's trying to get the ball off the enemy, and Carved will be taking control here.
X13 are masters at just chipping away at an opposing defense until a mistake is made and then capitalizing on that mistake. We've seen them do it time in and time out over the course of this tournament, and Tasek has done it more than anybody, almost getting Sato sleeping on the shadow defense there, but well defended by man in the Octane. Carved is going to take it high, denied by Tide over midfield. Tasek's there to the backboard. Can TK find a shot? He's going to fake the challenge, let Sato bang it away, and regroup for the pass from Tide, denied by Hefty. Tasek continues to force the issue. It's a lot of pressure here for X13. Just 2 minutes gone here in game number 4, match point for X13. Just got to find a way to win this one, and they'll take home the first place prize pool. And it does not take much. All it takes is one for X13 to completely shift the tone of this game number 4.
Definitely, and like I said, this has been a low-scoring game so far. Team X13 have been keeping their cards close. They do not have a lot of points to their name. They've not let Mook score any more shots. And with that, X13, after constant domination on the offense, are going to be taking the equalizer to their name. Tasek with a really good shot from the pass from Tide, and with that, they've all tied up. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left.
I mean, we've got a brand new half of Rocket League here, a fresh ball game, if you will, the kickoff right at halftime. Just a condensed 0-0 game time here, effectively. We're tied up at 1. That drive from Carved never even registering as a shot. It was turned away so quickly. Tasek to the backboard. Sato's going to have to make the save. They will. TK is going to continue to force the issue here. Tied up very early, looking for TK on the backboard. Instead, it's going to be Tide following up their own shot. Not a lot of boost for the defense of X13 here as Hefty plays one in the corner. Might have been better trying to find in the infield passes. There was just no boost in the tank for X13, and Tide is going to take it in transition off the backboard. Fights through the first touch from the defender, gets that dunk, and secures the go-ahead goal for X13.
You know, you can feel it as soon as he got that first touch. You could feel it that this is it. He might just be going for one of the best shots in the series so far, and he does. What a way to take the lead away from Mook Moves. Mook Moves have something to think about, have some pondering to do. We're Carved almost getting an own goal there. But now, right in front of the orange net, Hefty needs a really good touch. He does. TK taking possession on the wall. A little trouble there, trying to set the balance again. However, gets it over one of them anyways. TK, 0 boost to his name. Still evades the demo. Sending it over to Hefty. Hefty sends it center over to Tide. Tide, top corner. I mean, top bar shot. Top shelf shot, rather. Tide securing the 3rd goal. And that might just be one of the final nails in the coffin, because that is a 2-goal lead for X13. And we have seen how well they can hold down a 1-goal lead. And this is, well, 2-goal lead. I don't think Mook Moves have an answer to this one.
I would be inclined to agree with you. I think if they can't score a goal pretty quickly here, it's not going to happen for them at any point in this game number 4. It's got to be here, maybe in the next 10 seconds, to really give themselves a decent shout at being able to find a game winner. But it's still, really not able to get out of their own half. Just building the wall at midfield as X13. Defenders literally just sitting at the midfield line waiting for the ball to come to them, and then just punting it right back into the orange zone, playing that chip and chase game that has been so effective for them so far. They're continuing to force the errors out of Mook Moves, and when they are presented with the opportunities to capitalize on errors, Mook Moves can't find anything. That was a shot that Sato needed to score, and he comes up empty-handed. That might have been Mook Moves' tournament lives slipping away, as there's only 25 seconds left here in a game they've got to win.
20 seconds left. Tasek wasting its precious time for Mook. But now, Sato taking possession, and it doesn't matter. TK rolls one in pounces on the ball, doesn't care how many players are there near the ball. He doesn't care. He just sends it bottom left corner. TK sealing the deal of game number 4 in the grand finals of this Frost Esports Snowstorm tournament. And with that, X13, the winners, are going to be closing this one out soon enough with a consolation goal coming in from Sado. Sado says, come on, give us one. And he does get it.
I was worried that this one wasn't going to go in. Carved had almost put that one in, and then I thought there was going to be a save coming out of the blue net, and I was just like, wow, we're really going to do them just like that. They've had control of this game all the way through, and they're going to ruin the consolation goal. They will look for a little bit of the BM demo there off the kickoff. Ball's going to stay up at 0 seconds, but already knowing exactly who the winners here are going to be, and that's going to be X13 walking out $70 richer. And your victors here in the Snowstorm Weekly number 16. Congratulations to X13 on a dominant performance here in the tournament. The full upper bracket run all the way to the very end. And equally, congratulations to their opponents, some Mook moves who come out with $30, so not with empty pockets, at least with something to show for their night. They played pretty well, but man, X13 very much so showing that they're the best team in this tournament.
And I mean, it all just comes down to that one overtime in game number 3 in the semi-finals. How different could the outcome be in this particular tournament if they lost that? X13 would have gone into lower brackets, and I don't know whether I don't know. Maybe they could have lost momentum, but that wasn't the case. They took the game 3 overtime win, and they took everything to their names after that. What a showing by X13 tonight, and well, very well played by Mooks.
Yeah, I mean, nothing for Mook Moves to be ashamed of. Absolutely. They played a great tournament, getting all the way to the finals, and a tournament with 26 teams is no small feat, obviously. So, very well played from them. They just ran up against an X13 team that really struggled to put a foot wrong all night. It really kind of seemed like everything that they were doing was exactly what they needed to be doing, and all 3 players were doing that at a consistent level all night, and that can be very hard to beat. When a good team is having a good night, it doesn't matter how good you play. Sometimes it just isn't enough, and it was kind of what Mook Moves saw against X13. Just they didn't quite have enough in the tank to be able to pull it off. But at the end of the day, that is just kind of how it goes. And X13, it's a slog to get all the way through a tournament this long, and they come out on top.
They definitely do come out on top, and with that, we have our winners X13, and that will be it from our side. I believe there is something left. We would like to talk about once again Overkill Labs. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring this tournament. Obviously, the newest gaming energy company on the block, and they are, trust me, going to be taking the scene over really quickly. The quality of their products is just mind-blowing. Ingredients clinically proven to improve gaming performance. Try for yourselves at overkill-labs.com/Frost and use code Frost for 10% off. And that is gonna be it from me, Flater, and Hud. Thank you for casting with me. Thank you to Nick for being there for the entire time. And that is Frost Esports signing off.